So we'll start in 3, 2, 1. So welcome back, everybody, to the Community Services Committee. On this committee is myself, Councillors Thiessen, Councillors Bressie, and Mayor Clayton. And we have no delegations this morning. So we'll start off with our reports, and we'll jump into our Director Service update. Director Miller, please.
Has anyone else lost sound?
Yeah, I couldn't hear him either. Could hear him at the start, and then we lost sound.
Can you hear nothing at all, I guess, eh?
I can hear you now.
Okay, okay. We must just had a little hiccup in the chambers here, so if everybody can hear me now, we'll go ahead and we'll go back to Director Miller, please.
Okay, thanks, Chair Platt. I'll start off with the Community Knowledge Campus, and just with the announcement from the province about opening up. So on June 14th, CKC facilities reopened in alignment with Stage 2 of the Open for Summer plan. And that means the synthetic field is being used by both user groups and fitness classes at Eastlink Center, the fitness center, the track, lane swimming, splash and play, and racket sports pre-registered and drop-in bookings have also opened. They're also busy processing individual requests to reactivate frozen memberships, which is good news. And we've been busy recalling permanent custodial staff, lifeguards, arena operators, and guest services staff as needed for the reopening as well. And some good news about the outdoor pool. It's been 98% booked since it opened on the May long weekend. And another good news story yesterday with we offered bookings from July 1st until the 17th. Within 40 minutes of them being offered, 124 of the 124 spots were booked, and we had 117 on the waiting list. So real interest in using the outdoor pool. And then part of that as well, Big Brothers and Big Sisters of GP has been provided 5 90-minute time slots per week, and that's courtesy of the Don Gillies Legacy Fund. And then with events and entertainment, you've probably heard it advertised on the radio, but the Buck Wilds PBR event is being held on October 1st and 2nd in the fall. Tickets are on sale now, so it's good with the restrictions being lifted. We can have a great event there. And then with the MCC and Teresa Sargent Hall, Catherine and her team are working with Alberta Health Services to plan the move of the vaccination site from Teresa Sargent Hall at the end of August. And so that'll make it available for other uses for city use. And then with facilities, they're busy doing a paving stone realignment at City Hall at the front door. And then Curling Club, they're doing an annual ice plant inspection. It's in coordination with the Alberta Boiler Safety Association. And then at the Salmon Fire Hall, they're doing a roof assessment as well as at the museum site. And then Fleet, they've started inspecting the snow removal equipment. Hopefully we don't get snow for a while, but they're certainly doing their proactive work. Sports Development, Wellness and Culture, South Bear Creek is hosting the U12 and U19 girls basketball provincials in August. And some bad news, we had a member of the Community Advisory Committee resign. So we'll bring forward a recruitment process in the fall to replace that individual. And then just a note about Canada Day events, just an invite to the community. They'll be hosting a variety of events, including 2 live concerts, a dual aerial fireworks event, and a scavenger hunt. And then with transit, just an update on the numbers there. Ridership for accessible transit is at about 35%, and conventional sitting at about 42% of pre-COVID levels. So that's my update, Chair Platt, unless there's any questions.
Oh, well, look at the hands go. Thanks, Director Miller. We'll go with Councillor Bressie and then Clayton, please.
Can't hear you again, sorry.
Oh. Okay, let's take a...
But I think Mayor Clayton had a question.
Thanks, Director Miller. You had mentioned bookings at the outdoor pool from July 1st to 17th. I was curious what the plans were now that the provincial regulations will be lifted effective July 1st.
We just did these bookings starting yesterday, and I did talk to Angela Redding about that. And our plan is, as soon as possible, to open it up to the general public. We have to recruit additional staff. And it's about a 6-week process by the time we advertise, recruit, And then some of our staff, since they've been laid off for an extended period of time, they've lost their certification, so we have to recertify. So it's all in the works. So hopefully by mid-July, we should be more wide open at the outdoor pool as well for the general public.
Thank you.
Not sure if my mic's working now, but Councillor Bressie.
Great, thanks, Councillor Plott. I think it might be you're too far away from your microphone because you're kind of cutting in and out. But a question for the outdoor pool is for the big brothers and sisters. How can families access that if they need to?
Thanks, Chair Platt. My understanding is if they contact Big Brothers, Big Sisters and just indicate their interest, and then they'll coordinate it. We've turned over the coordination to that group.
Great. So, and that's for any families that need subsidized access. It's not just for people that are part of the Big Brothers and Sisters organization. Am I understanding that right?
I believe that's correct.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Bressie. Councillor Friesen? Not sure if she can hear me.
Yeah, I think we're still having audio issues with the Councillor Chair Platt.
If I can read lips, I think I've been. Thank you. Thank you, Chair Platt. Director Miller, a couple of questions. First, about the outdoor pool. I've heard a lot of good feedback. People are really enjoying the ability to book the pool for a group. And what will be available once it is open with public swim times and all that sort of thing again? Will there still be availability to book as groups? And will it still be along the same financial, like the same cost as it's been last year and so far this year?
Thanks, Chair Platt. My understanding in talking to Ms. Redding is that beyond the 17th, we won't be doing the group bookings any longer, but that's a discussion we'll have internally if we can work it into the scheduling into the future. And something else I should have mentioned is with the restrictions being reduced, eliminated July 1st, now that they have these group bookings, they can actually invite additional friends and family members. So I think its capacity will increase up to 40 per booking. So there'll be a lot more activity at the pool. But in the future, we'll have a discussion about can we continue to do bookends, and I think it's a good thing to offer to the community.
Yeah, thank you. I think the community would appreciate that because I've seen a lot of feedback and heard a lot of feedback that's really enjoyable. And if I may ask one more, regarding transit, so we're up to 35 and 40 some percent respectively with disabled transit and traditional. Have you noticed with the periodic loosening on restrictions, has there been a precipitous sort of a bump up with each one? And do we anticipate that the full the percent of pre-COVID ridership will be restored fairly soon after July, or what's the anticipation there?
Thanks, Chair Platt. Yes, we have seen a bit of an increase in ridership, and we are anticipating it'll return to normal levels in the future. So we're not sure how quickly, but I think some people probably maybe a bit of a coordination with the vaccination rollout or second doses, and once people become more familiar or more comfortable with getting back on the buses as well. So.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. I'm hoping my audio is working. So any other questions for Director Miller? Okay, seeing none, appreciate the report, Director Miller. Nice hearing about the pool update as well, as lots of people are excited to use that. So we'll move on to our next item with grant recommendations. And if I can just get Katie Bieberdorf to introduce this, please.
Morning. Thanks, Chair Palat. I'll just start with a couple of highlights from the Community Advisory Committee that was held on June 3rd. So we had Energy and Environmental Services in attendance at that meeting, and they shared some proposed changes to the community gardens and edible orchards policy. So the committee had the opportunity to review and provide feedback, and some of them also reached out to Ms. Gardner after to connect on some more detailed feedback for those policies. We also have been circulating engagement opportunities to the committee between meetings so that they have an opportunity to provide feedback through the engagement website. At this meeting, we also discussed funding categories for arts development and if they are reflecting the current state of arts and culture in the city. So we determined as a committee that we would create a bit of a working group to look at incorporating some cultural components into the arts development funding. And that group's meeting in July, and we'll report back to the Community Advisory Committee in the fall with any recommendations to changes to arts development funding. In addition, we also looked at grant applications for Pursuit of Excellence and Arts Development operational funding, and all grants were endorsed by the committee. So for arts development funding, we had the one application that was forwarded from a previous administration recommendation for the Grande Prairie Intercultural Association. And that one is recommended for $5,000 out of the operational funding. And then we had 2 applications for coach funding and 1 application for athlete funding. We did put some more detailed sport-specific information in the report as well, so you could take a look at what sports they're participating in. So we are recommending a total of $1,650 in Pursuit of Excellence funding and $5,000 of arts development funding.
Okay, thanks for that, Ms. Bieberdorf. Any questions regarding this? Councillor Bresley and then Mayor Clayton, please.
Great, thank you. Could you tell me a little bit more about what exactly the Intercultural Association is hoping to do with this operational funding?
They are doing school diversity programs, the Integration Academy, community nights, women's support groups, and some other programs and workshops in 2021. And then the recommendation would be for them to apply in January for 2022 because their original request was for the 2 years.
Right, and to apply for this specific funding again in 2022?
Correct.
I guess just my comment, if I may, Councillor Plott. I certainly support this today because I think they're doing important work. We should give them money. It doesn't seem that that's arts development though, or cultural money. It seems that this is a pretty core function to safety and community integration and so many things beyond arts and culture in this community. I'm worried about parking this grant here for 2 reasons. One, I think that it's taken up room potentially from other groups that actually are more arts and culture. And also, I just don't think it is a fair representation of all that Grande Prairie Cultural Association does. So certainly support this today because I want to get them funding. But I think that this might be an example of where we've gotten a little bit off in how we're funding external groups. And I don't think we've gotten off because of administration. I think we've got some work as council to do to figure out how to fund groups like this because this doesn't seem like the appropriate funding for me. But again, definitely support it today, though.
Thanks for your comments, Councillor Bresley. Mayor Clayton.
Thanks, Chair Plott. Councillor Bresley covered my question.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? It is nice when I look at being for Pursuit of Excellence, seeing that we're funding 3 different coach development, and mountain biking and equestrian dressage are not something that I would have thought I would have seen on this agenda maybe 5 or 10 years ago. So it's nice to see how the community is evolving with the different sports we're putting people into. So if no further questions, I guess I could just entertain a motion, please. Councillor Bresley?
Yeah, I'm happy to make a motion that committee recommend council approve the funding allocation as recommended by the Community Advisory Committee.
Okay, thank you for that. Any comments on that, or is everybody good to go ahead and vote? Okay, so we'll hop over to your e-scribe and please vote. That's carried. Thank you for that. Thanks, Ms. Bieberdorf. And I guess we'll back to Director Miller for his outstanding items list, please.
All right. Thanks, Chair Platt. Just the one item on the list, and it's still on track for mid-September.
Okay. Any comments or motion arising? Mayor Clayton.
Thanks, Chair Platt. I would move the committee receive the June 22nd, 2021 outstanding items list as presented for information.
Okay, thanks, Mayor Clayton. If no comments, let's please hop over again to e-scribe and vote. And that passes unanimously again. And with that, that'll close off the meeting for me, and I think we'll have to take a pause because we're a little bit ahead of schedule again. Oh, sorry. So I guess we're going to head